Hello, everyone. It has been a while, hasn't it? And I am so glad to be back. This is a long awaited introduction to a new series. If you're new here, hi, I am Farah Rose, Sister Farah Rose, Professed Lay Franciscan, and I'd like to welcome you to a really amazing new series. Our channel, Swords of St. Michael, has a variety of self-exorcism, help for anyone who might be experiencing what they think might be demonic, might be looking for some discernment, maybe some prayers. We have got a little bit of everything from the 16 most common Latin prayers for the Catholic Church recorded in ecclesiastical Latin to everything a little bit more common knowledge, current type of spiritual warfare stuff that my former husband used to do. And I am currently, I haven't been on for a while because I'm about to be wed in the Catholic Church. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about this new series, and I thank you all for being so patient. I'm going to show you the book, and I'm probably going to flash it a lot. This is the one we're going to be using. It's called Discernment of Spirits, the Ignatian Guide to Spirituality. And this is written by a really brilliant priest, Father Timothy Gallager. So you've got a week to find this. I don't know if it's available online or not. I will be reading excerpts from this as we go through the exercises and discern and take our time to grow in spirituality. And that's what I really hope to do in the spiritual warfare series that I'm doing. I'm sure if you've been here before, you remember the spiritual combat with Don Lorenzo Scapoli. I love that one. That was like forever. This one is going to be a long one also, in addition to the other videos that I do have and am working on narcissism, you know, the shadow demons of narcissism. Some of the things that are coming up right now, I've got a show I'm working on, Memento Mori. If you're not familiar with Franciscan spirituality, we're constantly remembering that today could be our last. And so we need to be very cognizant of this moment, this day, this present that we have. So to get into what you're going to expect out of this series for, you know, the Discernment of Spirits, this is going to be a fun one because there's a lot of misunderstanding about mysticism, growing in spiritual truth, being able to recognize and understand false prophecy, false teaching, false charismatic gifts. And right now there's a big consternation in our church, all the churches, all the Christian churches, you know, from the Catholic Church on down, of what is, you know, what does the gift look like? What does the gift of tongues look like? What is the gift of discerning spirits? And how do we know if this is a true gift, a false gift? So this is going to be a blessing to many of those, including me. I'm looking forward to doing this with you, that are really seeking to be able to explain to my directees and others who ask me about how we step into our faith. You know, that is a gift of the Holy Spirit. We all have that little deposit of faith, and how we step into a full knowledge and understanding and acceptance and go forward with this sort of discernment of spirits, because there's many spirits and most of them are very deceitful. And this is why in the Spiritual Combat by Don Lorenzo Scapoli, if you haven't watched that, I would completely recommend you go back to square one, or any of the chapters if you want to just, you know, tiptoe into it. It's strong, it's powerful. And if you do not have this book, I recommend you guys get this book too. This is an excellent book because you can pick this up at any time you're in a crisis, anytime you're thinking about making a decision. That's a great book just to have, to open up and look at. Whereas Discernment of Spirits, this is going to walk us into the direction of, we must know ourselves. We must know our minds. We must know and be aware of all these things around us. So I took some notes and I want to go over them with you. This is Swords of St. Michael channel. I'm hoping you are going to smash that like button and hit the subscribe And of course, you have to click on that cute little bell notification, because if you don't, you're not going to get any indicators that we've got a new show or I'm doing live, which as I mentioned earlier, I am about to be wed, and we're taking our sacramental vows this weekend. We are researching internet because I get to live my dream. I'm going to be out in the country, and we're raising chickens and starting a new channel. So more about that later, but I just thought you might like to know. So as I said, this is the intro to our new series that's going to begin the first week of June. All right, now on the discernment of spirits for the Ignatian Spirituality, there's some arguments among theologians as well as lay people that think that this is like a cookbook. This is just your generic cookbook that anyone can follow, and it's for the beginner, and it's step by step, and it's super easy. And if you just follow it, it'll be kind of self-explanatory. And that seems to be the biggest complaint, that it's kind of mechanized. Well, I think Father Timothy Gallager managed to take it a little bit deeper, and I'm hoping to explain it to you in an applicable way that you won't look at it as something rote, but you will look at it more, say, something that something you can practice that's a little bit different in addition to what you already do for your own spiritual prayer life. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of background about Saint Ignatius of Loyola, he was, as you know, Catholic. He started off as he had this magnificent spiritual awakening and conversion, and he basically just was driven to travel and be a pilgrim for Christ. He was just so inspired to do this. And, you know, his heart just grew and grew and grew and grew. He wanted to help people. He wanted to help souls. He wanted to help people in ways that he couldn't even understand yet. So that was the basis of his desire to study and become a priest. So St. Ignatius of Loyola went, and he was brilliant. He was obviously capable of understanding so many things in depth. His understanding, appreciation, and ability to transfer this to common people whose education was definitely not as good as his, he's brilliant. So he's so well known for his missionary work, his charitable places that, you know, he initiated. He started a religious body, family. He's authored the spiritual exercises, which, you know, if you don't have that one, that's a good one too, because that's a support for the discernment of spirits as well. And the Jesuit constitutions, among so many other things. Colleges, universities. St. Ignatius of Loyola, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so you can always read more about him. Our focus here is on the discernment of spirits. And I call it a self-exorcism because anytime that we can take the time to spend and introspectively look and follow these footprints and follow these footsteps of our thoughts and our actions and our choices, we basically weed out those things that are not serving us, those things that are basically leading us away from God instead of closer to God. So as we look at this, this is a fabulous treatment by Father Tim Gallager. And if you want more information on Father Tim Gallager, who basically wrote, you know, all this information, all this guidance, counseling to help us get where we need to go, you can find him at www.FrTimothy, spelled long, and I'll post the link down below too, FatherTimothyGallager.org. All right, his books, etc. are there. So, in Discernment of Spirits, what we're going to look at over the upcoming weeks ahead is starting with the threefold paradigm by St. Ignatius of Loyola of what, who, where, when. And that threefold paradigm exists in us being aware. And in our secular world, some people call it situational awareness. Some people call it being the who and your where. I mean, when I was in acting class and I was doing small bits and roles, it was being the who and your where by knowing right where you were at and what was going on. And in this, the threefold paradigm, we want to be aware first. And then we want to understand. We want to come to a grasp of what we are aware of. We want to seek to understand. That's number 2. And then number 3 that we're going to look into is we're going to choose wisely. We're going to act. We're going to complete that three-legged circle of awareness and understanding into an action that supports a concrete awareness. Also, we're going to look at, in this book, we're going to look at the types of spiritual awareness, because this is our journey. This is our journey to get closer to Christ, to have full faith and knowledge and strength in all these promises, that God created when, he sent Jesus. So this type or types of spiritual awareness that we're going to look at are psychological. How are we psychologically aware? Moral. Where does our morality and the choices that we make in that morality, how does that affect our spiritual awareness? And our own spiritual practices, our own spiritual awareness that we have grown into, no matter where we're at. Whether we're beginning, whether, we have extensive spiritual practices that we do every day, or whether our spiritual practices are more of a being and we have maybe just a few things that we normally do. So as we look at this, the third thing we're going to look at in this Discernment of Spirits, okay, this is really, really good stuff, is the text and the, shall we say, the direction of St. Francis or St. Ignatius of Loyola, the 14 rules, all right? And this is, I think, why they call it a cookbook, and they call it something that's like super simple that, you can pick up and go 1, 2, 3. I think it's a lot deeper than that. And I'm really looking forward to diving into this with everybody. So this book, we're going to look at some of the references and some of the points and some of the things that Father Gallager has researched to bring us into a greater understanding of how to step into this discernment of spirits. And I really, really like how, in some ways, when I choose to do a video on any topic, whether we're pulling apart a movie and we're looking at the demonic footprints in the movie and where it takes us, or we're looking at some of the aspects of mental illness, such as narcissism or, Machiavellianism or that kind of thing. We're looking at the footprints. Where is it leading us? And in this book on Discernment of Spirits, we're looking at where are our footprints going to take us. If we follow A, B to C to D, are we going to end up on Z? Are we going to end up back on A? So I'm hoping you're going to stick with me. Once again, I'd like you, if you're going to follow along, it would be wonderful if you could have a copy of this, The Discernment of Spirits by Father Timothy Gallager. I think you can pick them up just about anywhere. They have them at the Christian bookstores. They have them at Catholic bookstores. I think you can find them on eBay for like $4 or $10. They're, at used Goodwills, that sort of thing. It's a good book to make notes, underline, and follow along. Like I said, I'm going to be reading excerpts. So the series is going to focus on chapter by chapter, understanding, application, practical applications. So not only will we be following some of Father Timothy Gallager's, but I am going to lay into my own Franciscan spirituality, of simplicity and charity and memento mori. I want to encompass all of that for you because I love doing these. These are just some of my favorite series to do. Once again, I want to thank you for joining Swords of St. Michael Network, because we're hopefully here to help you in the spiritual battles of your life and your struggles. And if you'd like to contact me, you can either drop a comment below, or you can contact me at the swordsofstmichael.org website, help at swordsofstmichael.org. And I do answer my emails, and I am available for consultation. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I'm hoping to see you in 1 week's time for the first chapter of Discernment of Spirits. So God bless you, God keep you, and don't forget, Swords of St. Michael is here to help you win the fight and do it right. God bless.